So it's good that you have invited us. You heard what Professor Mumba told you. The reasons for the integration must be clear in your heads. The first reason, I had Right Honorable Ngoga mentioning it. I think he had me talking about it some time ago, and he seems to be a good student. The first reason is prosperity for your people. You must answer the question of how you can ensure the prosperity of your people. This is what we have been telling people all along. This integration is not for the leaders, it is for the wananchi. Especially if the wananchi wake up and become wealth creators. When the wananchi become wealth creators, then the issue of integration comes up. A wealth creator is a creator of, a producer of a good or a service. Because that's how you create wealth in the modern way. In the past, in the pre-capitalist times, the pre-money times, you could have goats and you look after them on one hill, and you don't have to bother with the other villages beyond your area, because the goats and the cows were for only subsistence, for food. But with the development of the money economy, with capitalism, when capitalism came up, and modern economy, even socialism, socialist economy, then the issue of who buys what you produce becomes crucial. And this is where the parochialists, those who are parochial, really run into trouble. You must have heard of people called Banyankore. There are some people who live somewhere. I happen to know something about those people. These Banyankore, they have cows, they produce milk. In the past, they were drinking the milk. Produce milk, you drink it, that's the end of the story. But with the money economy, they now know that you can live better if you produce your milk and you sell it. They produce beef, they have beef. They have bananas. They also have other things. They have coffee, they have tea. For coffee and tea, those are taken by the international market. So even if the Ugandans didn't want to buy the Banyankore tea or their coffee, they would sell it abroad. But it would have to pass through the non-Banyankore area. Even that international trade will get to the ocean by going through parts of Uganda which are not Banyankore areas and parts of East Africa. So even for that, they need Uganda, they need East Africa. But specifically for the milk, the beef, and the bananas, the Banyankore don't buy from one another. Why? Because they are producing similar products. This Banyankore has got bananas, the neighbor has got bananas. The neighbor cannot buy from this one cannot buy from the other one. This one has got milk, the other one has got milk. This one has got beef, the other one has got beef. Therefore, although they have wealth, they have cows, they have land, they have water, but to turn it into wealth, into prosperity, they would be stuck. And that's why the Banyankore now need Uganda. That's why the rescuers, those who rescue Banyankore from poverty, are mainly the non-Banyankore who come to buy their milk, to buy their bananas, to buy their beef. So if you go and you find that a Banyankore has built a good house, know that that house, yes, is from his cows, but it is because some people from Kampala and from Jinja and from other parts of Uganda bought the milk of this man and bought his beef or bought his bananas. So that's why your movement, this movement you have heard of called NRM, from 1965, we saw this. And we said, no, instead of parochialism, for us, we emphasize patriotism. You must love Uganda. Patriot means fatherland. You must love Uganda. Why love Uganda? Because these Banyankore need Uganda for their prosperity. But if you go to Acholi, you go to the border. I went to the border with Sudan in Lamu, in Acholi. The people there were quarreling with their neighbors, the Langi. They were saying, we produce simsim here in Lamu, near the border with Sudan. And these Langis from Rira come and pay us 1,000 shillings a kilo. When they get to Kampala, they sell it at 10,000. That was another quarrel. But still, you could not miss the linkage that the Achoris on the border with Sudan, this one is producing simsim, the neighbor is producing simsim. The neighbor cannot buy from this one cannot buy from this one. The only people who buy this simsim are we the Camparians, whatever you call us, who don't produce simsim, who buy it from the Achoris. So the Achoris are liberated from poverty by us. We, I have never produced a kilo of simsim in my life. But we use it. And who are producing it? The Achoris on the border with Sudan. And we are the ones who buy it here in Kampala. So therefore, this is the first step. That's why the NRM says, principle number one of the national resistance movement is that if you want prosperity for your people, love Uganda. If you say, I am a Munyankore, but I don't care about Uganda, I care more about Ankore, you are a liar. You are actually enemy number one of the Banyankore. Because if the Banyankore did not have Uganda, they would not be prosperous. So, by you being against Uganda, you are against the prosperity of the Banyankore. You are enemy number one. So when you hear all these opportunities, talking about tribes, about religion, those are enemies, first and foremost, of their own people, of their very people. Yeah. In the school system, I was never assisted by a single Munyankore when I was studying. The only people who helped me to study were two Baganda, one white man, and somehow the local governments were giving scholarships at some stage, and also the government of Uganda. Now, the two Baganda who helped me to go to, this was before, in the colonial times, before the economy had become more monetized. But even at that stage, we had one fat Muganda from Barara. He was called Bukenya by Banyankore. That's a Bukenya, but for the Banyankore, you know, they destroy everything. His name was Bukenya, but the Banyankore called him Bukenya. Now this fat man would come to Ntungamo, our area, in the monthly cattle auction market, and buy cows, including my father's cows, and take them to Mbarara for slaughter. There was not a single Munyankore who was involved in the cattle trade that time. It was only this Muganda man, Bukenya, and then there was another Muganda man from Kampala. Apparently he was well known here in Kampala. He was called Warusimbi Mpanga. He's the one who also used to come and buy cows and bring them to Kampala here. So these are the ones who would buy my father's cows. My father had cows, but he needed money. He couldn't take a cow to the school to pay school fees in a cow. He had to convert the cow into money and go and pay my school fees. But the Banyankore were not buying those cows. Now the other man who helped me was a man called, he was a white man called Shea. Shea was based in Ishaka, and at that time Chirembe mines had started. This Chirembe mines for copper, and Shea was buying cows from the markets and taking them to Chirembe mine for the miners. These are the three people who helped me to get education. But later on, the local government and the other people came in, the central government here, to give us either half or full bursaries. So therefore, point number one, if you are talking about prosperity of your people, you are not talking about parasitism. If you are not a parasite, you must love Uganda. You must love Kenya. You must love Tanzania. You must love Rwanda. You must love Burundi. All those people who talk about sectarianism are enemies, first and foremost, of their own people, of the very group they claim to be speaking for. But in our languages here, which don't move with a lot of speed, we say "tuba tukyali awo," as if they were doing nothing. Tuba tukyali awo. When we were still there, the Ugandans woke up. Being asleep is also a good thing, because when you are asleep, you don't know where danger will come from. A snake can come and enter the bedroom if you are asleep, and it will bite you and you die peacefully. You will not know. But when you wake up, you start seeing things. Now, these Ugandans, in the past, they were really asleep. Like for instance, in 1986, the production of maize was apparently 200,000 tons or something like that per year. Now, the Ugandans are producing 5 million tons of maize. In Uganda, Ugandans don't consume so much maize because they have got other foods. They have got bananas, they have got cassava, so they don't eat maize so much. So within Uganda, the consumption is 1 million tons. So you get a surplus of 4 million tons. So where do you sell it now? We are stuck. The internal market cannot take more than 1 million tons. The milk, the other Banyankore issue I told you. Production in 1986 was 200 million liters a year. Production now is 2.9 billion liters. The internal demand is only 800 million. So there's a surplus of 1.9 billion liters. Where do you sell this? The Banyankore are stuck. The Ugandans now, it's not just the Banyankore, it's all of them. You come to Ebikado, to sugarcane. The production of sugar is now 700,000 tons. The internal consumption, 380,000 tons. Surplus, 320,000, and growing. Where do you sell the sugar? And you go on, you can go on item by item. Steel bars, emitayimba, you go to cement, you go to soap, you go to other products. You have got surpluses. Problem is market now. Now, that's where East Africa comes in. That's why we, the Pan-Africanists, we are telling you that you people, you don't only need to unite Ugandans, you must, if you can, unite East Africans also. So therefore, this is reason number one of why Pan-Africanism is not just a sentimental feeling. It is a rational and unavoidable need. Either you do it or you become traitors of your people. If you see leaders who say they don't care about integration, they are definitely traitors of their own people, whether they know it or they don't know it. And these areas will never develop. Do you need examples? Yes. We've got very good laboratories. There is what they call North America, which has got 3 countries, Canada, United States, and Mexico. The whole continent has got only 3 countries. Then neighboring, there is South America, which has got a large number of countries. The countries of South America are very rich in terms of natural resources. They've got a lot of resources. The Amazon River, the biggest river in the world, is in South America. The forest, the minerals, They are all in South America. But South America and the Caribbean are centers of misery now. And you see them walking on foot from, I don't know where, El Salvador, the other one, Uruguay, what's the other one? El Salvador, there's another one called Honduras, walking to go to the USA. These were all former colonies. There were British colonies in the United States, what is the United States now, and there were Spanish colonies in Latin America. But in 1776, when the British colonies got independence, they united. The 13 of them formed a federation. And then gradually they built on it. And because of that, they built the most powerful country in the history of man, up to now. It is one of the most powerful countries in the world. Why? Just because of uniting the market. Neighboring Latin America, a lot of wealth, but no integration. You can't succeed. If you are a businessman in El Salvador, how do you succeed? The market is 2 million people. Then you produce, you can't sell to Honduras, you can't sell to the other one. You can't. People give up and run away. Business people run away, go to invest abroad. When I was in primary 3, 1955, at a place called Chamate, we were being taught that Argentina is one of the richest countries in the world because it had a lot of beef and wheat, and it is the one which was feeding the whole world. Now, if you look for Argentina now, it is one of the poorest countries in the world. What happened? The richness of Argentina and was based on selling beef and wheat to Europe. Now, when the Europeans formed the European Union, they shut out the beef of Argentina, they shut out the beef of the wheat of Argentina, and it became one of the poorest countries. So therefore, market is a very important stimulus for prosperity. So that's why we support this integration. Whether you like me or you don't like me, you need me. That's reason number one. Now, somebody here could say that, oh, if that is the case, then we have economic integration only. We don't have to have political integration. You can have economic, but not political integration. Well, if it is impossible for you to have political integration, then you accept it as a fact, and you live within those confinements. However, there are autonomous reasons for political integration. There's a war going on in Europe now between Russia and Ukraine. I don't know those who are encouraging Ukraine to fight, but I think it's not a good idea. Why? Because the Americans are the ones who are telling everybody about what they call four-dimensional superiority. That four-dimensional superiority means you are superior on land, you are superior in the Air Force, air, you are superior at sea, in the Navy, you are superior in space. Now, in the case of Russia and Ukraine, Russia is superior in all four. So, whenever the NATO brings something new for Ukraine, the Russians are watching it from space. So, how can Uganda, because somebody is superior to you on land, in the air, at sea, in the oceans, you don't know what's happening in the oceans, he's there alone, you are not there, you are here in Uganda, he's in the Indian Ocean, he's in the other one, he's in the other ocean, he's looking at you in space, looking at you like an insect. What is your plan, sir? Madam, honorable, right honorable, excellency. What is your plan, excellency? How do you plan to defend us against this man who is looking at us in space? Katonda jari. The Africans have got a very good answer. Katonda jari. So, Rubangatiye. Really? But you are a leader. You're supposed to get a solution for us. But can Uganda, as Uganda, have a space program to go to the space and see you Americans, what are you doing here? Can Uganda do it? We can't have a space program. Yes, we are going to have a small satellite with our Russian friends. But the space satellite will be near here, not. But it will help us to do small things, to look at small things near us. We are going to have that small satellite. But it is not, the other satellite, it's not in outer space where these people can base their systems through quarters and do damage to us when we cannot reach them. So that's why we say, we, the NRM, all these years, we said no. For us, economic integration is not enough for East Africa. It must be political, economic integration, but also political integration. Because with the political integration, then you have one army. You have one army, you have one defense system. East Africa can plan now, we can go to, because the Indians have gone there to ask the Americans what they are doing there. What are you doing here? This is our heritage, it's ours, all of us. The Russians have gone there. The Chinese have gone there. The only ones who are here are the blackies. What did they call the Africans? Negroes or what? What did they call them? They are the only ones who are here. In fact, all the other races have gone except the Africans. They are the ones who are really content on earth here. This is very risky. This is criminal. This is criminal. To say that we are leaders and we don't see this, and we are just here, Excellency, President, Madame, Excellence, Madame, Mademoiselle. In the African Union, you go there, you see, Banang. We are keeping the Africans for slaughter in the future. Like looking after cows, then at some stage they are slaughtered by the one who wants to slaughter them. This is not acceptable. That's why we need East Africa can go to space. East Africa. You can go to space. You Americans, what are you doing here? Mukora Chiwano. Eh? We have also come to see what you are doing here. So, that's why Ngoga correctly captured number 2. Number 2, integration is to deal with the issue of strategic security. Otherwise, it is really, because you the generation of Africans, you are going to be like the African chiefs who are here half naked, running around, that they are very important, that is a lion, that the king is a lion. A lion, whom do you eat? He only eats why don't you eat the imperialists who come to Now, these kings, I have had a long problem with them. Because remember, your ancestors were here. In their ignorance, we were all right. We were here with our small kings. In Ankole there, we had a small king. But the Banyankole thought he was a great king. He was Rubambansi, the control of the whole world. They thought that Ankole was the whole world. Rubambansi, Mugabe Nyakusinga. So we had these little kings here. Here, in Karagwe, Uganda, Bunyoro, all these little kings were here. They didn't know much, so you can't blame them. But the problem is that when I hear a rumor that some of you are Christians. It's not confirmed, but there's some rumor that now, if you are Christians like me, you would have read the book of the Acts of the Apostles, the journeys of St. Paul, those places where St. Paul was passing, Ephesus, Galatia, Corinth, and all those places. Some of them are now in a country that did not exist at the time of Jesus. This country is called Turkey. This Turkey you see now. It was not there. The Turkish captured Constantinople in 1453. Captured it from the people who were there, the ones whom St. Paul was talking about, the Romans. Now, when they captured Constantinople, they blocked the overland route to the east. So the Europeans could not get spices, especially, which they needed for winter, for preserving food. That's how the Europeans started expanding, looking for an alternative sea route to the east. The Portuguese, 1473, they got where Sierra Leone is now. 1482, a man called Diego Cama got where Angola is now. 1487, a Portuguese man called Bartholomew Diaz got to the Cape of Good Hope. That's how they call it, the Cape of Good Hope. And then 1498, Vasco da Gama went around the Cape of Good Hope and landed in Natal on Christmas Day. That's why they called it Natal. Now, that's why my problem with the king starts. When Vasco da Gama went from Natal, he passed by Mombasa, he bombarded Mombasa, he continued to India. From that time, 1498, these kings of ours here were aware, they were hearing that new people are coming, new people who are strong are coming. But they were just here, just not bothered. You can imagine, Vasco da Gama went around the Cape 1498. The first white man to come to Uganda was Huntington Speke in 1862. You calculate, this is a difference of 364 years. These kings are just seated here, not bothered to find out what's happening. And information was coming from the coast until the Europeans came and caught all of them like grasshoppers here. All of them were captured. Mwanga, Kabarega, all these little pharaohs who tried to resist, they were captured like grasshoppers. So, is our generation going to be like that? Like those kings? Because you have heard that somebody is in space, he's looking at you from there. And for you, you are here, dancing, dancing in Pakachini. Really, that's all the leaders are doing. When your people are here, and you know very well what happened to people when they are conquered. The good thing with the Africans is that they don't die easily. This is the good thing about Africans. If you go to America now, and you look for the Red Indians, they are not there. They disappeared. What they call Americans now are new people who came and took over the land of those Indians. Europeans who went and took over the land of the Indians. In South America, it's the same thing. Here, we refuse to die. That's why we are here. But is that going to be the case tomorrow? How can this generation of what they call leaders accept Africa to lag behind again? So that's why, number two, strategic security compels us to go beyond economic integration to also political integration, so that we can have a safe security formula to guard ourselves against anybody. The Chinese, they are moving. You have seen the Russians, what the Russians have been able to do with their friends, the Americans. You have seen what's happening there. Mm-hmm. They are like the Banyankore in the past, when the Banyankore were, if it was not for the poor leadership, the Banyankore were really tough people. But these kings were hopeless. The Munyankore, if he wants to fight you, he says, first he insults you, I will cut your mother something. Then you know that he's serious. We are not serious. Now, finally, but these people, we are begging you to integrate. Because we are begging you. The NRM, I have been, so now almost from 1963, this is the newspaper of the 3rd of June, the 6th of June, 1963. You can see the headline. Federation this year. Top level meeting of Mwalimu, Nyerere, Obote, Kenyatta, they are all here. You take this gift to the speaker, to the deputy, right honorable deputy speaker. And then here, there was also another meeting in Mbale. This was some years later. You take this to, oh, you have another copy? Give Tayewa a copy, Ngoga another copy. Even remember the preacher can also get a copy. So, that was the Uganda August of June 6, 19. That was the Uganda August of the 6th of June 1963. That's when I became a follower of Mwalimu Nyerere. From that time. Now, Mwalimu Nyerere was so much committed that people say, oh, Nyerere wants to be president of East Africa. That's why he's, you know, very low-minded people. So now, Mwalimu died, he went to heaven, you are here with your problems. The Banyarwanda have got a good way of speaking. You know, these dialects are similar, like Kinyarwanda, Kirundi, these ones here. Kinyankore. The Banyankore, when somebody has died, they call him Karubuti, the one who died. They don't say his name, they say Karubuti. But the Banyarwanda say, Nyakwigendera. It is different from the Banyankore one, but it's a good way. The one who died, Nyakwigendera, Akegendera, he went away and left you with your confusion. I liked the Banyarwanda version. Nyakwigendera. You tell people, please do this. They don't do it, you go. They continue with their nonsense. So Nyakwigendera Nyerere went. We have been begging you, please unite yourselves. But the people who are begging to unite are actually united by God. Because if you look at Africa, the linguistic groups in Africa are only 4. The Niger Congo, the Bantus, and the Kwa of West Africa. That's one group. The second group are the Nilo-Saharan, like our Nilotics, our Hamitics, like the Somalis, like the Oromos. That's one group, the Nilo-Saharan. I don't have time to go because you will find similarities. For instance, you find our Nilotics here call water P. It means water. If you go in the Somali language, they call water Bio. The same, P, but slightly changed, Bio. Then you find the Nilotic language linked with the Bantu language. Like in Acholi, they call daughter Nyara. And you know what Nyara means in the other. Then you have, so these are the second group. Then you have the Afro-Asiatic, the Arabic, and Amhara, and Tigrinya. And then the small South African group, the Khoisan. These are the four groups. But fortunately, for East Africa, there is a neutral dialect, apart from these linkages. Because, like for instance, if you take like Runyankore group from Ukerewe in Mwanza, all those groups, and Kigoma in Tanzania, and Burundi, all those speak dialects which I can listen to without translation and know what they are talking about. Kinyarwanda, Kirundi, Kiha, Kikerewe, Kizinza. I don't need translation. All the way to Lumumba's place, Professor Lumumba, the Luya. I can hear what they are saying, know many of the things they are saying. When I visited the Vice President, Mudi Awori, I visited Mudi Awori, the former Vice President of Kenya. The women came singing, Igula Mlango Museveni Yizire. Now, how could I fail to know that? Igula Mlango Museveni Yizire. Igula, open. So apart from those linkages, we are lucky to have this dialect, which is neutral, doesn't belong to anybody, called Swahili. Swahili is a dialect which doesn't belong to anybody. We can use it in the whole of Africa. It is not Uganda, it is not Runyankore, so you will not say Baganda have imposed their language. No, it's neutral. Swahili, it's developed on the coast. Sahel is coast in Arabic. These are the people who are saying, please, unite in order to achieve prosperity for your people, but also strategic security for your people. This is what we are begging you. Marim begged you until he went away. Huh? No. We had a member of parliament here in Parliament of Uganda who used to speak, he had a speech defect. Mayanja Nkanji. No, Ab Mayanja. He used to speak Obulimi. Obulimi is when you speak with the tongue out. So when they were debating that issue there, and Obote was beginning to develop cold feet, then Ab Mayanja stood up in Parliament. Some people want to remain big fishes in small ponds. So, this problem of wanting to remain big fish in a small pond, that's what I remember I was talking about. Getting a hair instead of 100% of a hair instead of 10% of an elephant. That's what he was talking about. So these are the people we are begging you to. So what are really the factors? Why can't people see what is so good for them? I think in your analysis, you need to notice one thing. Many of the actors are not wealth creators. They are not part of the wealth creation. Many of the actors are wealth consumers. They are the ones, the bureaucracy say what. They consume wealth, but they don't produce it. So they don't know the challenges of wealth creation. Because if you are a wealth creator, you would know the importance of the market. Market internal, market regional, market international. Germany, this Germany you see now, by 1871, was not one country. It had 39 kingdoms. Prussia, Saxony, this one, Bavaria, 39 of them. And they had kings, small kings there. But there was a big business group in Prussia called Junkers. They are written as Junkers, but they are pronounced as Junkers. These were big producers. They would produce a lot of, I don't know what, whether it was wheat or I don't, you can do the research. They were big producers, and they had a problem of market to sell, like we're having now, what you call the non-tariff barriers, NTBs. They are the ones who backed Bismarck, who united Germany after the 1870 war with France, the Franco-Prussian War of 1870. So, I think one of the weaknesses is the lack of this group, a powerful business group, business groups that understand the importance of markets. And then we have got the bureaucracy. Bureaucracy, for them, they just eat what is on the table. As long as some salary to pay them, they are not bothered. Mwalimu and some of us, we intellectually see the importance of the integration. And that's why we preach. But it would be good if we had these ones who are doing it for the sake of... Now, the other people, like the Maasai, Ngoga talked about, the border communities. The border communities, the traders, the small people, the ordinary people, they see the importance. But they don't have power. They don't have power. Like those Maasai whom he talked about. This is the same problem all over all these borders. All of them. These borders are an oppression of the people of the border. They are oppressed. In there, I have my relatives in Karagwe, Tanzania. They are there. The other time, one of my clansmen died in Tanzania. And I had to ring His Excellency Kikwete. Can I go and... they had already buried him. So can I go and put a flower at his grave? So I went, and when I arrived there, the regional commission, the whole government was there. It was a diplomatic situation. We should really... This is not fair for these border people. All these borders, from the border, Katuna, you find Bachiga on the other side, Bachiga on this side, Chisoro, Chinyarwanda speakers on this side, Chinyarwanda speakers on the other side. Then you come to Kasese, you don't know who is a Congolese and who is a Ugandan. Then you go to Bundubujo, you go to there are rules of Congo. Oh, they are all here in Hoima. They are now all Ugandans. You can't know who is who. You remember they used to say that Idi Amin was a Congolese, was a Sudanese. This is because Idi Amin's tribe, the Kakwa, are more in Congo and in South Sudan than even the ones in Uganda. Then Madis, you know the Madis. You remember there was a big man in South Sudan, Joseph Lagu. Is he still alive? Is he alive, Joseph Lagu? He's alive. Uh-huh. That man is a Mahdi like these ones of Uganda. Like, oh, do you want to know how Mahdis look like? My daughter-in-law stand up and they see how Mahdis look like. Aniko, she's a Mahdi. Then there are Choris, then there were the what do you call the Busia people, the Samia. We had Mude, our vice president in Kenya, and Agurewor wanted to be president in Uganda. Then you have the Bagisu, Bukusu, Mzee Moi's group, Mzee Moi's Karenjin, the Sabine. You have got some Sabine there. So these people, for them, they know the importance of integration, but they don't have the power. The power is with some other people, the bureaucrats. But even in ancient times, even before the capitalist era, really, although the kings were also blocking us, but goods were coming from Zanzibar all the way to Bagamoyo, to Tabora, to Karagwe, to Uganda, and all the way to Congo. So therefore, I'm very glad to hear that you have formed this group. Really, this is a matter of survival. If you want Africa to be like Latin America, that option is there. 300 years from now, I don't know what will be happening, whether the Africans will still be around or what. Or Africa would be a very powerful place. And East Africa is the one with the best chance. There was a debate between Mwalimu and Nkrumah about having the union. Nkrumah wanted to have the All-African Union government. He wanted political integration of the whole of Africa, but me, I didn't support that. Africa can be united economically. I can economically be in the same group with the Egyptians, with the Moroccans, and so on. But politically, I would like to be in a unity, where people are either similar or linked or compatible. I don't want a country where there are incompatibilities. And I think East Africa can be a perfect example, because with Swahili, with our old linkages, we already have these linkages, the old ones, the ancient linkages, plus the Swahili. We can have a very powerful union, better than the European Union, because the European Union has got limits, because they try to be like the United States, but the United States united around the English language. European Union have German, have French, have what, they all, nobody is willing to surrender to the other. But for us, apart from the foreign languages, English and French, we can have Swahili. And our union will be much easier and very, very powerful. So thank you very much for calling me, so that I can also tell you. Now, Lumumba wanted to say that Museveni's watch. If people were listening to Museveni, we would have had a federation long ago. So you go and convince your new government in Kenya, and you see we shall be able to, we can move. Because these Ugandans have said I should be here for another 4 years. I'm still around. So you can use this window with the new government in Kenya, and we move. And I discussed this with Marimu. I can tell you this. I discussed this with Marimu, and we agreed that if for some reason some of the countries have got a problem, they can't move on the federation, they're the ones who are ready to move. What we call variable geometry. So that one I totally support. It's not correct for the ones who have a problem to veto the ones who want to move. Because when Marimu was frustrated with our groups here in 1964, with Karume, they formed Tanzania. And it's there. And it has helped a bit. You can imagine what would be the case if Tanganyika was separate, Zanzibar was separate. They share the water, the continental shelf, the what, all that. There would be a lot of complications. And as you know, Zanzibar is very small. Now you find many Zanzibaris now in Tanganyika. They have got more opportunities. So it was good that Marimu and Sheikh Abed Aman Karume moved while the others were dragging their feet. You can be sure if that union had been formed in 1963, there would have been no problem in Burundi, because East Africa could stop it. There would have been no genocide in Rwanda. There would have been no Idi Amin here. Even Somalia wanted to come in, by the way, that time. These problems you see in Somalia would not be there. Even Congo, because East Africa, if we were together, we would help. South Sudan, we would have helped them long ago. So it was a very big mistake, a very big historical mistake to miss that moment of 1963. Thank you. I wish you good luck.
I'm a king, yes, I'm a king. I'm a king.